Well, hello there, my fellow flesh and blood players. My name is Sloopdoop, and today I want to have honestly a more serious conversation about the game, the community, and the inevitability of the community as the game grows. So, strap down. I'm going to be going off for a little bit. I want to make some points about, honestly, human nature, about social media, about the community online, community in store, in your local game store, and a divide that's already quite wedged in to our community to this game. So grab your popcorn, grab your drinks, whatever you want. Sit down and enjoy. I want to talk about basically the inevitable heat death of this community as the game grows because it's going to happen. So something I keep hearing about online, and I've been seeing in the Discord a little bit, I've seen on the Reddits in that, is people talking about some people saying the community is great, and other people saying how the community is already toxic. I've seen some posts talking about the Facebook page. Some people have said the Facebook page is really toxic, like it's really awful, and I mean it's Facebook. I mean, come on. And it's been really making me really think lately about the community, and it's great right now, and what's going to happen to it as time goes on. Because quite honestly, as time goes on, you're going to get more toxicity. This is just an inevitability of anything that grows and gets more people in. Because human beings are divisive. We are tribal, right? We are tribal animals. We existed as tribes. We've evolved. We've come a long way. But the only reason we're able to cohesively connect on a large scale is because we share the ability to believe in the same thing. Take money, for instance. I'll even pull this out. I'll even pull this out to make my example. Okay, so this $20 bill, this Canadian $20 bill, is a piece of plastic with ink on it. Essentially, it has no real value to anything, right? If there was an apocalypse, this would be nothing. What am I gonna? I can't eat that. I can't drink that, and it just fell. Okay, it's there on the ground. I thought maybe it fell like in behind the desk kind of thing. Um, Same with government. Same with, well, really anything. Most of our society is all ideas, right? Everything is based upon an idea. The government only has power because people believe it does. The police only have power because, well, they have weapons, but also because people let them have that power. Like, we believe that they should be the ones governing us or policing us. And so everything is built upon ideas. Now, what happens when people's ideas start to splinter is you start to get a divide and you start to create that toxicity, right? And right now, Flesh and Blood has that because Flesh and Blood is being racked by what most TCGs are being racked by, and that is investors and scalpers and flippers and all those kind of people. Now, Flesh and Blood has it somewhat bad because the game had a huge boom, and so there's a lot of people looking to just solely invest. And I've heard it online. So people have said that they went to a pre-release or whatever, and they met a guy, and he just said, "Oh, I'm just here to invest. I'm just buying products so I can flip it." And those people are kind of awful. I will admit. And I will say, if you're the kind of person who is solely, you're not even opening the product, right? You're just buying sealed product. You are turning around and selling it for a profit. Sorry. You can fuck off. Okay, if you're not even going to be a part of the game itself, if you don't even open it, you don't care what the cards are, you don't care anything about that. All you care about is the money that can be made. Go away. I know you're not going to. I know you're going to continue doing what you're going to do, and you can do what you want to do. But I don't like you. I don't want you here. None of the players want you here. None of the collectors want you here. The people who actually like the game, none of us really want you here. So just understand, you're not part of this community, obviously. So I don't feel bad about saying that. I don't think that's a toxic thing to say. I think that's a pretty well-rounded opinion. However, there's a very it's a fine line and it's not a fine line because there's a huge difference between somebody who's buying a ton of product because they literally just want to turn around and sell it, and somebody who's buying a ton of product because they like it, they want to invest in it, they want to collect it, they want to have stocks of it because they just like it, and they're going to open some and they're going to keep some. And that's basically what I'm planning on doing with a lot of the unlimited stuff that's out, and then first edition, hopefully Kingdoms Forward. Now, I'm not going to be buying like 40 cases, right? I saw a Reddit post today about somebody was complaining that a store had canceled their like 40 case or 40 box, I think it was 40 case order. And they were really mad. It was from Hong Kong. They were reaming them out. They were, talking all this shit. And the response to this person from a lot of people was like, "Well, you're a scalper. Fuck you." That was the response, right? And this is where that wedge, that dividing wedge has been driven, right? People don't like Monarch just came out. The first edition is releasing this Friday, like the real release. I didn't get any. I got into the game too late. Boxes were $500 Canadian when I got in, and I didn't know if I liked the game, so I didn't buy it. And by the time I was like, oh my god, I love this game, they're like $750. I'm not spending that much on a box just to open it. Like, I'm sorry, that's just too much. I'm not buying a box for $750. I want to open the set, right? Like, if I buy that box, as much as I tell myself, I'll keep it sealed. I'll keep it sealed. It'll increase in value, and I'll sell it later and use it to buy, like, another set. I'm not going to. I get my first box in Monarch, and I'm not going to be able to not open it, but it's not worth it. It's not worth $750 to me to open. I'm going to have to wait for Unlimited, and it feels like crap. It feels like shit to have to wait for more product. And then when you see people who are buying 40 cases, or just tons and tons of it, and you can't participate, you don't get any, it makes you feel bad. And this is creating a divide in the community. Now, I haven't gone online and reamed anybody out. I haven't gone and told, like I said, the only people I've said fuck you to, basically, are the people who are legitimate scalpers. Like, who literally just, they don't even open it. They buy it, they flip it. That's all they want. They've done it. They're doing it to Pokemon. They're doing it to I would assume, a little bit, not really Magic. Pokemon and trading cards, or sports cards, sorry, I think are the two things right now. Pokemon, for sure. That stuff is getting scalped to oblivion. Slowing down now, but for a while with Shining Fates, man, it was awful. And when you already have product that is expensive and hard to get, and then you have it being sold out and the price jacked up, and people who want to play can't participate, and you got your legendaries that are really expensive, like the cost of this game, essentially, is what I'm saying, is really ripping the community apart, because you have people who want to be able to get in and play budget, and you can, but who also want to maybe have a chance to get some of the more shiny stuff, some more expensive stuff, but really can't because the product's not available. And this is something that Legend Story Studios has to figure out, right? And I'm not saying that as that you gotta figure it out because I want the product. No, if you want this game to survive, right? I don't think anybody from Legend Story Studio will ever see this video. I get like 50 to, well, one video got like 400. It was like my welcome to the game kind of thing. But I usually get like roughly 50 to like 80 views, My channel's still growing. It's small. Also, I'm at 67 subscribers right now. I need 2 more to hit the sex number. I'm really excited for that. I will be making a video about, like, just as a thank you video when that comes out. So, I mean, thank you right now, but I just need 2 more. If you could oblige me, I would be greatly appreciative. Sorry. Serious time again. Legend Story Studio has to figure this out. If they want their game to succeed, you can't have products selling out and skyrocketing before it even comes out. Or if it is going to, if first edition is going to continue to sell out and be in sky-high prices. I made a video saying that Unlimited should be released. It should be pre-release, first edition, Unlimited. Like 1 week, 1 week, 1 week. So 2 weeks after pre-release, you can get your Unlimited. I'm kind of falling in line with some other people have been saying. The same time. I honestly think that it really should be the same time. If it's going to be this bad, because you're going to drive players away. You are driving players away. People are already turned off by the price of legendaries, right? They're already turned off by the price, like Fables or whatever. You don't need them to play. They're not even that great. But legendaries you do if you want to play like a good deck, if you want to play competitively. And the price can turn some people off, especially because the game is new. Now, I firmly believe that if people play the game and are willing to try it, they will like the game. But the price is going to be a huge turnoff, and some people just aren't willing to drop a game like Magic where they're already invested in order to get into something like Flesh and Blood. Or maybe they're not invested and they just don't have the money to spend, and they just casually play card games. But it's still a turnoff, the price. And so Legend Story Studios really has to figure this out, and I think they know that. And I have confidence that they will figure this out, that they will increase the print run. Maybe they'll figure out they'll release Unlimited a little sooner than first edition, because I would love to get my hands on some first edition, and I plan on doing so when Kingdoms pre-releases start for certain sites here in Canada. I went to my local game store. Turns out their distributor doesn't even sell Flesh and Blood, so I unfortunately can't go through them. But if you have a local game store, you like them, they're good, you're friendly with them, try to order through them first and foremost, and you'll probably have more likely that your boxes won't get, they won't cancel your order. If they know you, they probably won't cancel your order and then resell it at, a higher price. You'll get that a lot more on online stores because there's no face-to-face human connection. But that's also something else I wanted to talk about. So setting the price aside, setting the fact that people can't get product and they're angry about that and they're bitter, I want to get into the social media aspect of this because, quite frankly, social media is an absolute cancer on society. And I will always stand by that. Social media is the worst thing that has happened to our society. social media is nothing but algorithms, right? When it first started, it was kind of cool. It was interesting. When Facebook was new, when Twitter was new, when all this stuff was growing, I was a teenager, so I kind of grew up, with it. It kind of evolved with me. As I grew older, and I learned as very young age actually that from being in a relationship that wasn't going so hot. I was in like grade 10, I was 14, 15 maybe, and texting the girl and feeling like crap because the relationship was going downhill. It was high school drama. I dealt with a lot in high school. I had a lot of other problems aside from that, but just when I was reading her texts, I always took it negatively. And I've always been like that. I read something, and if it's somebody responding to me, and it's most of the time I take it negatively. I take it that they're upset with me, or they're insulting me, or that they think I'm dumb, or I'm a loser, or whatever. My brain takes it negatively, and I bet you anything, a lot of yours does too. And I don't necessarily think that this is anything that's a fault with yourself. It is black and white text, and our brains are wired to think the worst of everything because that is how we have survived as a species. So when you go online and you see a post of somebody, for instance, the one where the guy was talking about his cases or 40 boxes or cases, whichever it was, I can't remember specifically. It was a lot of product, was upset that he couldn't get it, and everybody was basically saying, fuck you, you're a scalper. But you don't know that. Honestly, you don't know that, and you got irrationally angry at it. And even if this guy is a scalper and he is a piece of shit, okay, that's fair. But you don't know, and you just got angry, and you responded, and that is the key thing, anger, okay? So the big thing with social media I want to talk about, there are two sites that I would beg you, if you want to be a part of the community and you want the community to be good, two sites you need to not use, and that is Facebook and Twitter. And why are these two, out of any of them, the worst? Because their algorithms are designed to make you angry. Anger is the way to bypass anything logical. Anger is the way to get you to immediately share something without reading it, or just upon reading it. Like you read a news article title, the headline, and you share it without reading the article because it pissed you off. What you read caught your attention, immediately made you angry, probably politicized, and then away you go. That's another thing. I'm going to get into that right after this, is politicization. That's the big thing I want to talk about, okay? Because this is very important. But social media, again, Facebook, Twitter, their algorithms are designed to piss you off. They literally show you the things they know will make you the most angry. Because it works. It keeps you on the site. It keeps you active. It makes you click things. It makes you share things. It makes you interact. It is the easiest way to do it. And it is the worst thing for you. It's the worst thing for your brain. This isn't even just about the game. If I can give you any advice, it's keep off social media as much as possible. Now, I know that for a lot of people, even me, my local game store doesn't have any Flesh and Blood, right? They can't even get it from their distributor, okay? I can't even go in and play because I live in Ontario where dealing with COVID has been completely bungled, and so we're still in lockdown, okay? I can't even go and play Flesh and Blood at my local game store. I can't compete in anything unless it's online. So I understand. You got to communicate with people online. I'm here making a YouTube video. I've been on the Discord a little bit. I've been posting on the Reddit. I've been trying to interact because I want to be part of the community, but I've been keeping it to a minimum. I've been doing it here and there, but I don't want to spend all my time online because I actually had quit social media for a while. The only thing I used was YouTube, and I only just watched videos. I didn't use it as a social media platform, right? I've only just stepped back into social media a little bit, and I'm not going any further than I am now, because I don't trust it. It's not good for your brain. It's highly addictive. It's one of the things that is deteriorating people, okay? Another thing is horrible diet, lack of exercise, but social media is one of those big pillars of what's ruining society and what's ruining people, and it's going to ruin this community. So if you have a small community that's in the local game store or in your area, if you have to use Facebook, if it's just in your area, I wouldn't join like a general Flesh and Blood Facebook group, right? Or that, because it's just not going to be a good place. It's going to turn toxic very quickly because Facebook is just that way. That it's just an awful site. The algorithm ruins people. It is just not good at all. I would highly recommend against it. And Twitter is another one, right? Everybody knows Twitter's a flaming trash heap. Twitter is absolutely awful. I quit Twitter because I realized one day every time I went on it, I got pissed off. And this was when I was big into Magic. Like, I loved the community, I loved the game, and then I went on Twitter, and within just a matter of months, I started really disliking content creators that I loved before. I started really disliking people that I thought I looked up to because I started seeing their political opinions. It just, there was something about the way it was presented and something about that black and white text and just the culture and the society that we live in and the atmosphere of everything and with social media and just, I was getting so angry all the time. And so I quit. And I've been better off for it ever since. Give that a try. If you've been really depressed, if you've been feeling miserable, if you're angry all the time, maybe look at social media. Just take a look at social media. What you eat is also a good thing. Just throwing out just a couple life tips in there of ways that I've helped myself. And I think that's important. I think helping people to help themselves is also important for the community. Encouraging people to be better and to really try to improve themselves. Because when you have people that are bitter and miserable and angry, they're just going to spread that toxicity. Like, you want people to be doing well. You want people to be happy. And social media is just not good for this. Twitter and Facebook are the worst. But even Reddit, even Discord, right? You got to be careful. You got to be careful with this, right? It's hard not to be an asshole sometimes. You know, sometimes you see something, you're like, oh my God, that is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. This person's such an idiot. And you gotta be mindful, right? You have to keep in the back of your mind at all times, what do I want this community to be? And what do I personally need? What way do I need to act to help create the community I want, right? Because this one person I don't like right now, I'm pointing to my computer, you can't see, but this one person that said something really dumb, I could ream them out and I could prove that they're an idiot. But what are you accomplishing? Are you really making the community better? Or are you just proving that you're smarter or that you're right? You know, you really got to take a step back, and you can't be responsible for everybody else. You can call people out. You can tell them to be nice. You can tell them, hey, you might want to calm down. You know, it's not a big deal. When you see like flarings and arguments and that, but you're only responsible for yourself, right? You can only control what you say and do. So you need to look inwards. You need to look at yourself, and you need to figure out if you're being good for the community or bad. And the last thing I really want to drive home here is the most important thing, and that is politics. For the love of all that is holy, for the love of this game, for the love of everything, do not bring politics into this game if you can avoid it. You're eventually going to slip up. You will inevitably talk about politics. For instance, I just talked about how the lockdowns have been bungled. That's political, right? Because it's the leadership isn't doing their job, in my opinion, and some people might disagree. But I'm not going to get into that because it has nothing to do with the game, right? And it's hard sometimes because stuff you're dealing with in your real life, especially if it's political, you got some high opinions, maybe you've been in arguments and you care about what's going on. It's really hard to keep it out of things. But for the love of God, don't bring politics into this, okay? There were some magic creators when I was back on Twitter who I'm not going to call out specific people, who would constantly talk about politics. And it became kind of a joke. And they're like, well, if you don't like it, don't watch my content, right? Don't follow me on Twitter. The thing is, you're free to talk about politics if you want. I'm not telling you can't, right? You can do whatever you want. I'm not your mom. I can't control you. You want to talk about politics? Fine. Just understand that if you do, you are actively making the community worse. You are actively making the community a worse place. Because you bring politics in, you make people angry. You make people stressed. You get people riled up. Remember, the key thing here is anger, right? That's one of the key things here that I've been talking about. It's anger. When people are angry, when they feel they're being treated unfairly, whether it's they can't get the product, or they're angry because you said something on social media and the way social media twists your brain, or you're talking about politics, which is like the worst way to make people angry, or best, I guess. My God, like just, people come to these games for an escape, right? You don't want to hear about your political opinions. Nobody cares what your opinions are on what's going on in your country or your leadership or a lot of the times lately in the past several years, past probably 4, 5, 6 years, has been a lot of like social political stuff. So a lot of like, you've got, your far left, your far right, your moderates, you have all this divide between people. I think this has been created intentionally through multiple means. I personally think that it's been created, racial divide and social divide has been created to, I guess, glance over the fact that there's more of a class divide than anything amongst people. People who usually think they hate each other typically would have more in common if they actually sat down and talked. But this is the thing. Whoever, I guess the big puppet masters of the world, if you want to go conspiracy theory, I think it just benefits those in power to have people divided because it's easier to remain powerful when everybody's divided. I mean, It's how communities crumble. It's how things fall. And I don't want to see that happen. You start talking about politics, you start really getting into it, and it's going to make people angry. And it's going to make people fight back against you. And you're going to create that divide. They're going to be the us and them. And Magic has this really bad, okay? There's basically, like, it feels like to Magic, for Magic, you've basically got one side that's like, we are very social justice-y. We are very, like, left. We this is what we care about. If you don't agree with us, we hate you. You're not welcome, and then you have the other side that's, quite honestly, I've never really seen the other side be that bad. Usually they just kind of ignore it and go away. But you do have those other sides that are like, no, I hate the social justice. I absolutely hate you people. Get out of my game. You're the worst. And it's just, it's awful. It's awful. It's torn the community apart. Thankfully, Pokemon doesn't really have that. Yu-Gi-Oh! Christ, Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to be one of the worst fan bases, and it seems a lot better now, probably because most of the people are now my age. They've grown up and they've become adults and they've, put aside their differences. And that's, so the key thing here that I want to talk about is ideas and keeping the community together, right? So you don't want to talk about politics. You don't want to use social media, or you minimize it as much as you can and be careful with it. And LSS needs to figure out the production. They need to get more product out to players, right? But that's not necessarily their fault. If they don't fix it within the next 6 months to a year, yes, it will be their fault. They've had plenty of time. They need to work at this. But I think they will. I have confidence in the company that's making this game. I have confidence in James White. They've been doing an excellent job so far, right? They couldn't have possibly predicted such a boom. And then it comes on us, the community, right? Again, you gotta be mindful and think about what do I want to portray, right? I've been trying to be careful with my wordings. I know I've probably already made a couple people angry because I've shared a little bit of my opinions, and I apologize. I've mentioned some key words about certain political affiliations or opinions, and it might make some people angry. I'm not really saying where I stand, right? Because I don't have like this, I fit into a box of this political opinion or this political opinion. So I'm not trying to have the conversation be about that. But if you got angry, right, at any point in this, I want you to think about why. And was it me that made you angry? Was it something dumb I said? Is something you disagreed with? Are you going to write an angry comment? Do you think that that's the way to respond to me? Or do you think maybe just talking to me? Saying, hey man, I get your point, but I don't really agree, and here's why. Because that's a lot more conducive? No, that's not the word. Is that the word? I can't remember. I'm trying to speak a little more eloquently. I'm trying to have a genuine discussion here. But it's not going to give you the results you want, essentially. Like, think about what is the goal you want with when you leave a comment, when you talk to people. Do you want to have a genuine conversation? Do you want to share something with somebody, or do you want to just beat them down and be right? And I feel like more often than not, we want to beat people down and be right. We all do, okay? We all do. And again, this is only going to get worse as the community grows. Human beings, it was I read a book called Sapiens. I can't remember the author. And it's kind of about our evolutionary process. And we have about the ability to have about 150 relationships. That is very small, right? So the flesh and blood community now is very small. So we're able to kind of work together, right? We're able to be nice to each other and get along. And aside from the scalpers and people who are, taking product away, for the most part, everybody's friendly. On YouTube at least, I've had a great time, man. I had a bigger YouTuber, Bronson. Shout out to him. Shout out to you, Bronson. If you do see this, you've watched a couple of my videos, man. You left a comment on my first video. I was like, hey, that's really nice. You left another one on another video of mine, and I was like, okay, cool, this guy's really awesome. I clicked his video and I found out he was a content creator. And when I found out that this is somebody else who's been making contact, who's involved with the community, and he noticed my little channel, and he's only got like 400 something subscribers. He's not that much bigger, but just, it felt awesome. And that's what I want our community to be. I want our community, even as it gets bigger, to hold an idea together, to keep us together. This is the final point I'm getting to. And I think this is where James White, the creator, being a part of this game actually comes in key, right? Because Richard Garfield left Magic a long time ago. He's not the face of Magic anymore. It's Wizards of the Coast, and they're ruining the game. Let's be real. It's a big corporate thing now. Whereas James White loves the game, he's still creating it, he's still behind it, and as long as he's still behind it and he can share his vision, there's an idea we can get behind. We can get behind his vision, we can get behind his passion, his love for the game, and we can all remind ourselves that the game is what matters. It's the game, okay? don't bring your politics into it and try to make the game about your politics. That's what happened to Magic, is people started co-opting the game. You know, you'd go to GPs or Magic Fest or whatever, and you'd see on Twitter that some people were, you know, they would have certain agendas or whatever, and they'd be giving like t-shirts, and it'd be about a certain cause. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I'm fine with the cause, but is this the time or place? Like, you're co-opting the game. Like, this place should be about the game, not about real world problems. And that is a key thing. Keep the game about the game, right? Getting upset because you can't get product is reasonable, right? I'm bummed out that I can't buy Monarch for until June. It's a huge bummer, especially because I want to make content. I hopefully will get my Blitz deck sent in. They haven't shipped yet. You know, Red Zone Rogue's already done his opening, and it's like, well, I guess I'm doing mine considerably after. It might even be a week later. That's how it is. It's not the end of the world, but, you know, it's kind of a bummer. And it is something to get a little angry at, especially when you see people who are scalping, who are just flipping product. But when you go online and you're having a conversation with somebody and they say something you don't like, you don't need to immediately get inflamed, okay? And I also want to go back to that point I made earlier about you perceiving messages as a negative thing. You need to keep that in mind too. When you're getting comments, you need to just remind yourself, be mindful of this, keep it in your head, right? Think about it, take a second and go, okay, am I maybe just reading this wrong? Maybe they could mean it in this way, even if you don't believe it. You could just say, maybe they're trying to be nice. What way could I look at this to see it maybe being nice, right? You've got to do these things. If you're going to use social media, if you're going to read black and white text, you've got to be careful, and you've got to be mindful, and you've got to be nice, okay? You can't be a dick and then turn around and say, I want this community to be great, right? If somebody's not part of the community, they're scalping the product, yeah, they're a dick, fine to tell them to fuck off. Somebody who actually likes and plays the game but buys a lot of product and opens it and maybe collects some, it's not really okay to tell them to go fuck themselves because they like the game. They're part of the community. You're just upset that you can't get the product, right? And again, that's again where LSS needs to step up, and I think they will. I think it's, you know, it's not their fault right now, but they will fix it. I have confidence. But again, I know I'm just kind of repeating myself at this point. I just really want to drive home the fact that I don't want to see this community crumble. And I think we have something to learn from other communities. And I think that if we can maintain a core idea that it's the game that matters, it's how fun the game is, it's all about the game. Don't bring in politics. Don't bring in real world shit. Don't let social media twist your brain like a pretzel and turn you into some mindless, angry robot. Enjoy the game. Enjoy it as much as you can with real life people. Right now it's difficult for a lot. But any chance you get to play with real life people, do it. Because it will be so much more fulfilling than online and then on social media. And that will be what gives strength to the community. Find your community in small batches if you can, right? Like if you can find a community that's just for your country or just for your province or state or wherever, you know, or just for your area, I highly recommend that. Keep it small, right? And maybe interact with the wider community here and there. But if you can keep it small, you can keep your ideas, you can focus on the game and nothing else. All that matters is the game and how fun it is. I think we can make it. I think we can make a much better community than Magic the Gathering. Because let's be real, the Magic the Gathering community is fucking shit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. The Magic the Gathering community sucks. It is so divided. I don't think it's ever going to be fixed. Because you have the same problem in Magic, right? Where there are some products that cost so much because Wizards is trying to jack the price up of everything. It's creating that same division you're seeing in Flesh and Blood here. Right? But then you have all the other divisions that Magic has, and I don't want to see that happen to this game. I want us to be a good community, a strong community, a happy community, and as long as the game is doing well, and we get out of this product issue that we're having, the supply issue, I think we'll be okay. But we just got to be careful, because I don't want to see us go down that dark road. It's so easy to slip down it. As an individual, as a group, as a collective, it is so easy to slip down that path into darkness, become separated, and it's so much harder. Once you're separated, it's really hard to get back together. It's so easy to be separated. It's very difficult to come back together. So hopefully we can rally behind James White and his ideas for the game, his love and passion for the game, and we can enjoy it for what it is, and we don't go down that path. That's essentially what this video has all been about. I love this game so far. I've really enjoyed being a part of this community. I've been loving making these videos and posting stuff on YouTube. My channel's been growing. I've been getting some feedback. I've been getting people watching and commenting and liking. It feels great. Get that dopamine rush. But I've got other YouTubers commenting, and I would love, okay, if maybe, probably not, but Bronson, if you're watching this video, I would love to do a drinking with Bronson. I'm just going to throw that out there. I love to talk, as you can tell. This is my longest video. What am I at? I'm at like 30 minutes, okay? This is a ramble. This is one where you sit down and just listen to in the background. I would love to converse with you, man. You are awesome. I love your videos. I've watched a bunch of them. I've been listening to your videos. Like, I play video games or, you know, doing stuff with decks. I'll sit and watch videos, listen to videos in the background. So I'm listening and while I'm doing something else. And I've been watching a lot of your videos, so I would love to converse with you if you ever want to. If not, that's fine. I understand. But I just really been enjoying being part of this, and I want to see it continue to grow, and I want to see the community be good. I don't want us to go down that dark path. That's that. I'm going to stop here. I'm a half an hour. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was maybe like 22, 23 minutes. I'm going to end here. That was my message. I hope it was coherent enough. I tried my best. I didn't, you know, maybe I really should script something like this. I hope it didn't anger you too much. Again, all of this is coming from a love for the game. I've fallen in love with this game. I'm looking to switch. I haven't been touching Magic, and I'm genuinely like looking to shift my main game from Magic slowly to Flesh and Blood, because I think this game just has more potential at this point. I think Magic is already dead, or at least it's not Magic anymore. It's not the game I fell in love with, and I don't think it'll ever go back to being the game I fell in love with. So I'm looking to play Flesh and Blood, and I don't want this game to turn into what I just left. That is my biggest fear, is that I'll get into this game, I'll love it, I'll be a part of the community, and it will go to shit. And I don't want to see that happen, right? So maybe just take, you know, again, I'm just some guy. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Do your own research, think with your own brain. But I hope this at least gave you some ideas and maybe made you think a little bit, okay? Because this is something I do care about, and I think I have an okay eye for. Like, I can kind of look at a community and be like, this is what led them down this path, and this is what we can do to avoid it. But if you think there's other things we need to do, or if you think I'm just a jackass and idiot and I need to go fuck myself, let me know. Maybe be a little nice about it, but let me know. I welcome criticism. I want to be criticized. I want people to give me new perspectives and to make me grow as a person. I am actively seeking that out because I want to be better. I want to be smarter. I want to be just better than I am today. I want tomorrow, you know, when I wake up tomorrow morning, I want to be better than I was right now, you know. Anyways, I hope you all have a good one. I hope this video wasn't too long for you. I hope you enjoyed. Again, share all of your thoughts with me. I want to talk about this more, because I don't want this community to continue being divided and to go down that path where it just gets destroyed before it's even begun. So, I am going to finally end it here. I hope you all have a good one, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye-bye.